3 new mindset tools to land the job faster. And this applies to really anything you want to do, any big goal you have, anything you want to aspire to. These 3 mindset hacks and techniques are going to show you how to do that. So stay tuned. Number 1, make decisions faster. Let's think about it. So when I coach my clients, a lot of the times I will find them waffling on decisions like, should I apply for this? Should I not apply for this? Should I follow up? How should I follow up? When should I follow up? All these decisions, it takes them a long time to make them. And so the longer it takes you to make a decision like that, the longer you're waffling in that decision versus then getting to the next decision, right? And the goal is going to take you a certain amount of steps to get there. And you won't know how many steps it takes until you reach the result. But the faster you make decisions, the faster you'll get through those steps and the faster you'll reach your result. It's actually really not that difficult. It's scientifically proven. The thing is we get in our head thinking things like, oh, but if I follow up in the wrong way, or if I use the wrong words, or if I say the wrong thing, then I might not get that job. But here's the problem with that thinking is if you waffle in the decision and try to get it perfect, then it takes you a long time. It takes you out of the energy of movement, and then you're waffling in a decision instead of making the next decision. So the key here is to be imperfect, be okay with being imperfect, being okay with getting it wrong sometimes, doing it messy sometimes, and just doing it. And there's support you can get. Like in my program, we coach on that stuff, and I have all the templates for how I recommend you can do it in a way that feels congruent for you. But you want to do it as fast as possible because that's what's actually going to get your momentum moving. So I have a client who was procrastinating on submitting some applications for 2 weeks, right? And they were with people that she already knew, positions that she had a shot at getting. And she was just procrastinating on these applications because she was trying to get them right. She wasn't sure how they were going to be received. She wanted to get them perfect. So in those 2 weeks, she wasted a lot of time if she had just gotten them done, right? And just gotten them submitted. And after she stopped procrastinating and she just pulled the trigger and started sending out those applications, things started happening really fast for her. She had meetings lined up. She had more meetings lined up. She had people who were interested in speaking to her. She had people reaching out saying, oh, you're applying for this job? I didn't know you were looking. I have this for you. And so things can happen really fast when you start to make decisions really fast. So that's number 1 is make decisions faster. Okay, on to number 2. Learn how to build a belief intentionally. So when we start out for something, our belief can be high, right? So this is what usually happens. Our belief is high. We're like, oh yeah, we're going to get this job. Like say you were laid off and then you're out in the job force again. You might be thinking, okay, this is great. This is exciting. Let's get on to the next opportunity. Fun, right? And then your belief will start. What normally happens is your belief starts to lower when the results don't come immediately. And this is very common, but what we need to do is actually learn to believe on purpose continuously until we get the result. Because what we do is we let our belief just lower and we kind of get eaten by negative posts and negative things that people say. And we end up in that negative spiral that most people are in. But you can intentionally avoid that. You can create your own current and you can actually lead your own way. So what I call it is intentional belief building. And I've had to do this throughout my whole career and throughout my business and through everything I've wanted to create. I've had to believe all the time, right? And especially when you're starting a business, there's a lot of financial uncertainty with that. And you have to believe that you're going to figure it out, that you're going to have enough resourcefulness and you're going to try enough things to get the results that you want. And so I have a lot of practice with this belief building. And I think the number 1 quote that really helped me solidify this was that both faith and fear require that you believe in something you can't see. So you could be fearing that you're not going to get the job, but that hasn't happened yet. That's not factual. We don't know because it's in the future. Or you could have the faith that you are going to get the job. And that requires the exact same effort, right? The exact same energy to believe that it is going to happen versus it's not happening, because both of those things are going to be in the future, right? And what we believe in the now is what we bring in the future. So it's like every moment of belief you have, every moment a feeling that you have it's coming, every moment that you take action inspired towards it, every moment that you're in that energy of creation kind of adds up like a bottle. So say you got a bottle, and every moment of belief adds up, adds up, adds up, adds up until your bottle is full and you get the result, right? If your bottle is continuously being drained by anxiety and fear and panic and scarcity, then your bottle won't add up to what it needs to get to the result. Okay, so learning to believe on purpose. Now, that is a skill we are not taught in society. We're taught to be careful, be cautious, take whatever you can get. So we need to learn that, and we need to have that skill, because that is what gets us to our results, is believing before we see it. And we're taught that we need to see it before we believe it, but honestly, that's bullshit. It never works, and it will just keep you very in scarcity mindset for a very long time. So that's number 2, is learning to believe on purpose. Number 3 is blocking out the noise from everybody else, right? So I don't personally watch the news, but it's like the news is going to give you a lot of noise. The news is meant to startle you. The news is meant to give you all this negative information, and that can easily pull you down depending on what kind of personality you have, right? I don't like watching it because it makes me depressed. And if there's nothing I can control about the news, then it's not helpful for me, right? So I know you want to stay informed and all that, but it's not going to be helpful if you're the kind of person who is very susceptible to what you hear from other people. So this is not just the news. It could be your friends, your colleagues, the people that you surround yourself with could be saying things like, oh, it's a tough time right now. Layoffs are everywhere. And I feel like I've been saying this since I started career coaching. Even before the pandemic, I feel like people have always been saying that. Yet in my sphere, people have always been landing jobs and landing higher paying jobs than they thought they could. And it's because of the belief work that we do, and because of the faster decision making that we move through. But definitely blocking out that noise intentionally. So what I like to say is pay attention to when you hear something, whether that be on the news or whether that be something somebody says to you, pay attention to how that makes you feel. And if you end up feeling like bleak, like it doesn't make you feel good, like you're like, oh, like kind of the wind gets taken out of your sails, or it doesn't sit right with you, you can just decide, you know what, I'm not going to take on that belief system. I'm not going to take on what that person said. So I had one client, and she is in her 60s, and she is moving into a new career. She's going to be moving into Q&A analysis, and she has felt that judgment from people thinking like, oh, they see I'm switching careers at 60, and they're like, really? You're switching careers at 60? And so she feels like, she says when she hears that, she feels small, and she feels like she shouldn't be doing it, and she feels like she wants to hide. And so I said to her, that is a perfect example of your opportunity there to block out the noise, right? So I said, someone can say that to you, and instead of you feeling small, you can decide, yeah, damn right, I'm switching careers at 60. Like, that's what I want to do. And I'm thankful that I have the brain power and the intelligence and the ability to do that. And I'm excited. Like, you can actually take over that energy with your own decided energy. And so what I said to her was, I didn't ask for your 2 cents, but I'm going to hand it right back to you. And you can do that because you're not obligated to take on anybody else's belief systems. And it is so important, if you want to be elevated in a place where people are cheering you on and saying, go for it, versus telling you to hang back and be careful and cautious. It's important that you intentionally put yourself into those kind of places, into those containers, into those rooms with people where they are actually wanting you to succeed, and they are pushing you to your next level, and they want that for you, because society isn't like that. It's definitely going to be the norm where you hear people saying, oh, you better be careful, you better not take that, this is going to be a dangerous time. But I feel like I've been hearing that my whole career, and it's like, you know what, it hasn't stopped me, because my belief systems are what's important, my decisions are what's important, and blocking out the noise is what's important. So there you have it. Those are the 3. Make decisions faster, learn to believe on purpose, and block out the noise. All right, that's it for the video today. Give me a thumbs up if you like it. Give me a thumbs down if you didn't. Subscribe to the channel. I have a free training. It's a 3-day series. It's essentially the first part of my paid program for free. So it's like a try it before you sign up kind of thing. And it's very intense. It's very in depth. I get feedback on it all the time saying that it has changed lives and people have landed offers just from being in that space with that energy with those 3 days. If you want to learn more about working with me, you will learn about that at the end of the training. And I look forward to seeing you in another video.